are appropriate.
Exactly, exactly. So coming to a comfortable seated position on your mat. Bring your hands together at heart center, allowing your eyes to flutter close. Inhale, your shoulders up by your ears and relaxing them down your back, allowing your neck to grow tall, pressing the crown of your head up toward the sky. Breathing in and out through your nose. I'm going to introduce Ujjayi breathing. Gently constricting the back of your throat and continuing to inhale and exhale through your nose, creating a beautiful oceanic sound. It's almost a feeling like if you're saying, ah, as you exhale, but keeping your mouth closed, opening your throat. With our warming breath, tucking your chin slightly. And working to lengthen your breath, lengthening your inhale, lengthening your exhale. On your next exhalation, returning to a normal breath, in and out through your nose. And on your next inhale, sweeping your arms up overhead, palms touching, lengthening through your side body, lengthening through your rib cage, interlacing your hands and flipping your palms up toward the sky. Pressing your palms up toward the sky and bringing your hands slightly behind you, opening up through your chest. Chin is tucked, lengthening through the back of your neck. And then releasing your hands, allowing your arms to come down by your sides. Walking your hands out in front of you, hinging forward at your hip, coming onto your tippy fingers, allowing your head to hang, chin is tucked, lengthening through your lower back, and walking your hands over to the right side, as far as you can go. Bringing your left hand on top of your right and allowing your head to hang down in between your biceps. Pressing your left sit bone into the mat, being mindful that it doesn't begin to lift up. Feeling a nice release here. And then coming back onto tippy fingers, walking through the center to the other side. Laying your right palm on top of your left, allowing your head to hang. Pressing your right sit bone into the mat, lengthening through your side body. Chin is tucked. And back up to your tippy fingers, walking back to center, and walking your hands back towards your shins, coming to an upright position. Planting your left palm to the outside of your left hip, and sweeping your right hand up and over, reaching for the wall on your left side. You can feel free to stay here if you can, coming down to your left forearm, but keeping your right sit bone rooted to the mat. Lengthening through your right side body and allowing your head to hang, allowing your left ear to move toward your left shoulder, and pressing into your forearm and palm and rotating your chest up toward the sky. Rooting your right sit bone into the mat as you lengthen, lifting up through your top rib cage. Reaching your top fingertips up toward the sky and opening your chest, rotating your thumb toward the back of the room, allowing your head to hang, releasing the stress and tension in your neck. Maybe make a fist with that top hand, rotate your wrist in one direction and rotate it in the other. right hip, sweeping your opposite arm up overhead. If you can come down to your right forearm without your left sit bone coming off the mat, feel free to do so. Reaching your fingertips toward the right wall and rotating your chest up toward the sky, pressing into your forearm and palm as you lengthen through your rib cage, allowing your head to hang, no stress, no tension. Breathing here. Noticing a difference between the two sides, just honoring that difference. Reaching your top fingertips up towards the sky and opening your shoulder, palm facing forward, and just opening your shoulder back behind you. Rotating your top thumb behind you and just opening a little bit more, feeling a nice stretch in your top shoulder. Feel free to stay here if you wish to make a fist, and just give your wrist a little circle here. Pressing into your right forearm and palm to lift out of your right shoulder. Be mindful that we're not sinking into our shoulders. And then when you're ready, allow your top arm to pull you back up to a seated position. Turning toward the top of your mat, coming into tabletop position. Stacking your shoulders over your wrists, spreading your fingers wide, pressing into each finger pad. Hips are over your knees. Stepping back with your right foot, allowing the ball of your right foot to come down to the mat and pressing away from your hands, giving yourself a nice calf Achilles stretch here, allowing your head to dangle, the crown of your head hovering over the mat. And just shake your head no, nod your head yes, releasing any tension and stress in the back of your neck. Sweeping your right leg up behind you. Pressing through your right heel, gazing at the space in between your hands, and crossing your right leg over your body behind you, allowing your toes to find the floor, and turning back to look at your right toes, creating a C shape in your spine. Turning back toward the top of your mat, lifting your right leg up behind you, pressing through your back heel. And then opening your right leg out toward the right, allowing your toes to find the floor. So we're getting a nice inner thigh stretch here. Allow the inside of your foot to rest on the floor. Just give yourself a nice inside thigh stretch here. Feels great. Press yourself away from your hands. Just sort of shift your weight forward and back, just to try to find your sweet spot here, wherever feels good for you. Nice inner thigh stretch. Bringing your right knee back beneath the left, coming back to tabletop position, and stepping back with your left foot, bringing the ball of your left foot behind you down on the mat, and pressing away from your hands. Allowing your head to hang, the crown of your head hovers over the mat, shaking your head no, nodding your head yes, releasing any tension that you feel in the back of the neck. Squeezing your left leg up behind you, toes pointed down, pressing through your left heel, gazing at the space just between your hands. Lifting your left leg slightly higher, and then crossing your left leg behind you, allowing your left toes to touch the floor, and then turning back to look at your toes, creating a C shape in your spine. Turning back toward the front of your mat, lifting your left leg back behind you once again, toes pointed down, pressing through your heel, and opening your left leg out to the left, allowing your toes to touch the floor, and coming to the inside of your foot, allowing the inside of your foot to rest onto the floor, and just shifting your weight forward and back, finding that sweet spot for that wonderful inner thigh stretch. Pressing into the inner inside edge of your foot here. Lengthening through your inner thigh. And when you're ready, stepping your left foot back to meet the right. Bring your big toes together, opening your knees wide out to the sides, and pressing yourself back into your child's pose position. Tucking your chin, bringing your forehead to the mat, and breathing here. Walking your fingers forward, lengthening your arms. Creating hollowness in your armpits. Feel free to stay here, pressing into each finger pattern. If you wish, rotating your thumbs to the outside, so that the backs of your hands come to the floor, pressing into the backs of your hands, allowing your back to broaden. Keeping your forehead to the mat, chin is tucked, and feeling your sit bones begin to spread. As you press into your shin, pressing into the tops of your feet, feel your sit bones begin to spread out. Rotating your thumbs back toward one another, and pressing yourself back up to a tabletop position. Fingers spread wide, tucking your toes under, pressing yourself up to a down dog, pedaling out your hips. And coming up to the balls of your feet. And on your exhale, sinking your heels down toward the earth, melting your forehead towards your shins, sweeping your right leg up behind you and stepping in between your hands, coming into a low lunge here. Hands frame the front of the foot, lining the fingers up with the toes, allowing your hips to sink down. Breathing here. And being mindful that your front knee is stacked over your front ankle, pressing through the back of your left heel, and allowing your left knee to come to the mat. Untucking your toes. Feel free to stay here if you wish, and allow your front knee to move over your front toes, feeling a nice stretch in your left hip flexor. Feel free to stay here if you'd like to challenge yourself a little bit today. Bringing your hands to your front knee, balancing here, breathing. If you'd like to go further, sweeping your arms up overhead, pinkies rotating in toward one another, chin is tucked, just like taking a slight back bend here. Breathing here, pressing into the top of your back foot, bringing your palms together, flipping your hands up towards the sky, and pressing your arms back behind you, opening through your shoulders. Releasing your hands, bringing the back toes, frame your front foot. Breathing here. Planting your left palm to the inside of your front foot, and sweeping your right arm overhead. You can keep your left knee down, or if you'd like to tuck your back toes and lift your knee off the mat, feel free to do so. Reaching your right fingertips up towards the sky, pressing into your left palm to lift out of your left shoulder. Taking a half bind here, tucking your top arm behind you, reaching for that imaginary pocket, allowing your top shoulder to move away from your ears. And breathing here. allowing your head to be loose, allowing your left ear to move towards your left shoulder, releasing your neck, coming out of your half bind, reaching for the sky with your fingertips, and then framing your front foot once again. Bringing your left knee down to the mat, untucking your toes, and straightening your front leg, pressing back, allowing your front toes to come off the mat, feeling a nice hamstring stretch here. Breathing here, if you can, bringing your forehead to your knee. And if it feels better for you to move in and out of this pose, shifting your weight forward, bending through your front knee, and then straightening it out once again. Whatever feels good for you. You can hold this hamstring stretch, or if you want to flow in and out, bending and straightening, whatever feels good for you, however your body needs to move this morning. Bending into your front leg once again, bringing both hands to the inside of your front leg. And toe heeling your foot out slightly, and then rotating your toes about 45 degrees to the top right corner, coming into our lizard. So our palms are planted firmly, fingers spread wide, allowing your right foot to roll over onto its outside edge, opening up through your hips, breathing here. If you'd like to come down to your forearms, feel free to do that. Opening up through your right hip. Feel free to stay here. Or if you'd like to add a quad stretch, pressing yourself back up to your palms as you come down to your forearms, tucking your back toes under and growing your left leg long behind you, walking it slightly back, as far back as you can go. And then bending your left leg, planting your left palm, and reaching for the outside edge of your back foot with your right hand. Guiding your heel towards your glutes, rotating your chest back to the front of your mat. Pressing the top of your foot into your hand to open up through your right shoulder. Breathing here. This is a tough one today. My hands are tight, or my quads are tight. Breathing here, pressing into your left palm to lift out of your left shoulder. Sending your breath to the tight spaces that you feel here. Releasing your back foot, bringing both hands to touch the mat, tucking your back toes under, and stepping into your down dog. Pedaling your feet out. Sweeping your right foot behind you, bending your knee 90 degrees, and opening out to the side, coming into hydrant. Gazing under your right armpit, pressing the sole of your right foot back behind you as you open up through your hip. Pressing through your right hip bone, pressing your left heel towards the mat, giving a nice Achilles stretch, hamstring, calf stretch. And then turning back towards your mat, coming into down dog. Sweeping your left leg back behind you and stepping in between your hands, coming into a low lunge. Hands frame your front foot, lining up the fingers with the toes. Pressing through your right heel. Allowing your hips to sink down towards the mat. Breathing here. Front knee is stacked over the ankle. Allow your right knee to come to the mat, untucking your toes. And allow your knee to move over your front toes here. Feel free to stay here, or if you'd like to bring your hands to your front knee, feeling a nice deep stretch in your right hip flexor. You can stay here if you'd wish, sweeping your arms up overhead, pinkies slightly turn in toward one another, chin is tucked. Breathing here, pressing into the back, to the top of your back foot, bringing your palms to touch, interlacing your hands, flipping your palms up towards the sky, taking a slight back bend here, allowing your arms to move back behind you as you open up through your chest. Releasing your hands, framing your front foot once again. Planting your right palm to the inside of your front foot and sweeping your left fingertips up towards the sky. Feel free to keep your knee down on the mat, or if you wish, tucking your back toes under, lifting your knee off the mat. Pressing into your right palm to lift out of your right shoulder, allowing your hips to sink. Taking a half bind here if you wish, bending up your top arm, reaching for that imaginary pocket behind you. Allowing your top shoulder to draw away from your ear, and allow your right ear to move towards your right shoulder. Releasing your half bind, reaching your fingertips up towards the sky, and bringing your left palm to frame your front foot once again. Bringing your right knee down to the mat if it's not there already, and bringing both hands to the inside of your front leg, toe heeling your left foot out to the side, and rotating your toes toward the top left corner of your mat, preparing for our lizard on the other side here. Spreading your fingers wide, and allowing your left foot to roll over onto its outside edge. Breathing here, lengthening through your spine. If you'd like to come down to your forearms, feel free to do so. Feel free to stay here if you'd like to add a quad stretch, pressing yourself back up to your palms, tucking your back toes under, lengthening your right leg behind you, bending up your back leg, planting your right palm, and reaching with your left hand for the pinky toe side of your foot. Pressing the top of your right foot into your left hand to open up through your left shoulder, guiding your right heel towards your glutes and rotating your chest toward the front of your mat. Breathing here, sending your breath to the tight spaces that you feel here. Releasing your back foot, bringing both hands to the inside of your front leg, and then framing your front foot once again, coming into your runner's lunge, and then straightening your front leg, lifting your left toes off the mat, feeling a nice stretch in your hamstrings, and feel free to bend and straighten your front leg if that feels good for you. If you want to hold it and bring your forehead to your knee, that's an option. Or you can just begin to move in and out, bending your front knee and then straightening it, whatever feels good for your body today. foot, tucking your back toes under, and stepping back to down dog. Sweeping your left leg back behind you, bending up your left knee 90-degree angle, and opening out into hydrant. Gazing under your left armpit, pressing the sole of your left foot back behind you, pressing through your left hip bone, releasing your hips, and pressing your right heels toward the earth. Turning back to face your mat, coming into down dog, coming up to the balls of your feet, and on your exhale, sinking your heels down towards the floor. Shaking your head no, nodding your head yes. Bringing your knees to the mat, opening them wide, big toes touching, and pressing yourself back into your child's pose. Pressing into your palms, tucking your chin to your chest, and rotating your thumbs toward the outside, pressing the backs of your hands into the mat, allowing your back to broaden, and then rotating your thumbs back toward one another. Pressing yourself into your tabletop position. Stepping one foot between your hands and then the other, coming to a forward fold. Bringing your big toes together and allowing a slight space between your heels, about the size of a quarter. Coming into your forward fold. Bringing your palms to your shins, lengthening through your spine, and then exhale, forward fold. Bringing your hands to your hips and with a flat back, coming all the way up to standing. Stepping to the top of your mat if you're not there already. Coming into our mountain pose, inhaling your shoulders up by your ears and relaxing them down your back. Chin is tucked slightly, lining up your spine, and interlacing your hands behind your back, opening your chest, allow your knuckles to move down toward the earth. Shifting your weight forward into the balls of your feet, lifting your heels, and shifting your weight back into your heels, lifting your toes, and setting your toes down on your mat one by one. Finding a nice neutral space here. Taking a deep inhale, lengthening your spine, and on the exhale, folding forward. Interlaced hands come over your head, opening up through your shoulders. Bringing your forehead to your knees or your shins. And releasing your hands, allowing them to float down toward the earth. And coming into gorilla pose. Stepping onto your palm, lifting your right foot up and slipping your palm underneath your foot, bringing your toes right up to your hip crease. Same on the other side. And if you feel unbalanced in this pose, you can just use Yogi toe holds, which is the index finger and thumb wrapping around your big toe. So when we inhale, we're going to straighten our legs, lengthen our spine, flat back, feeling our sit bones begin to spread. And as you exhale, fold forward, elbows bend out towards the side, bringing your forehead towards your shins. Deep hamstring stretch here. Inhale, arm straightens, legs straightens, flat back, lengthening the spine. Exhale, pull deeper, elbows bend out to the side. sit bones begin to spread, and exhale. Stepping off of your hands, coming out of your gorilla pose. Inhaling halfway, bringing your palms to your shins, lengthening your spine, and exhale, forward fold. Making tiny little fists with your hands, and then allowing them to sit in the crooks of your elbows. Coming into ragdoll, just hanging here. Swaying from side to side if that feels good for your body today. Releasing your fingertips down toward the earth. And then slowly coming up vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhaling your shoulders up by your ears and relaxing them down your back. Bringing your big toes to touch, like base of the heels. Standing tall and proud in our mountain pose. Keeping your arms up overhead, bringing your palms together, lengthening through your side body, and then tipping back, coming into a nice back bend here. Pressing your hip bones forward. And opening your arms wide out to the side, rotating your palms up toward the sky, and trying to reach your thumbs toward one another, opening your chest. Breathing here. And then releasing your hands down to the side. And stepping your feet out to the edges of your mat here. Keeping your heels on the mat and rotating your toes about 45 degrees. Coming into Yogi squat. Bringing your hands to heart center. Begin to bend your knees, coming into a squat. Coming all the way down. Bringing your elbows to the inside of your thighs. And using your elbows to open up through your hips, feeling a nice stretch in the inside thigh here. Spine is straight, pressing your palms together. Breathing here. Planting your palms in front of you, straightening your legs. Wide forward fold. Shaking your head no, nodding your head yes. Toe heeling your feet back toward one another and crossing your left foot behind your right. Nice hamstring stretch here. Breathing here. Melting your forehead towards your shin, allowing the crown of your head to move closer toward the floor. Uncrossing your legs and bringing your right foot behind your left leg. Crossing your legs and walking your feet back behind you, coming into down dog. Bringing your knees to the mat, coming to lie flat on your stomach. Bringing your hands to either side of your rib cage so that your thumb gently brushes the top rib. Tucking your chin, bringing your forehead to the mat, bending up your right leg and bending up your left leg, reaching for the outside edges of your feet walking your knees back toward one another if they've separated, pressing the top of your feet into your hands, and pressing your hip bones into the floor, keeping your head and legs on the mat, and just feeling this gentle quad stretch. If you'd like to deepen this pose, on your next inhale, lifting your head and shoulders, lifting your knees off the mat, pressing the tops of your feet into your hands, opening up through your shoulder, tucking your chin slightly, gazing down at your mat to lengthen through the back of your neck, lifting higher, opening your shoulders, lifting slightly higher, and then releasing down, releasing your feet, turning your left ear to the mat, and resting here. Turning your gaze back to your mat and bringing your forearms in front of you, preparing for our Sphinx pose. So our forearms are about shoulder width distance apart, and a great way to tell if we're shoulder width distance apart. Bring your fingers in and try to wrap your fingers around your elbows, kind of like a genie. And so you should be able to do that. So if you need to widen your elbows or bring them in a little bit, please do so. And then once we are shoulder width distance apart, extending our fingers out once again, pressing our forearms and fingers into the mat. Feet are together, squeezing the inner thighs together, pressing your hip bones into the floor, and trying to walk your chest through your biceps. So allow your shoulders to open up, pressing away from your ears, and just energetically moving your elbows towards your hip bones, coming into Sphinx pose. Breathing here, and then releasing down. Pressing yourself up into a tabletop position, and turning to face me, coming into a comfortable cross-legged position. We're going to give a little foot love today. Bringing your left foot on top of your right thigh, just interlacing your fingers in between your toes. Really getting down to the webbing, holding hands with your feet here. Begin to expand and contract your fingers, creating space between each toe. And then pulling your toes towards you and pressing them away, circling them around, whatever feels good for your foot today. When you're ready, popping your fingers out with a loose fist, gently tapping at the bottom of your foot. Coming to stillness, and with your two thumbs, just giving the bottom of your foot a gentle massage, starting at the heel and just working your way up through the inner arch, across the ball of the foot, down through the sole, and coming to your toes, giving your pinky a little pull, moving on to the next toe, just giving them a little pull here. And then coming to rock the baby, bringing your hand to your knee and your hand to your foot. Or if you feel like your hips are open today, feel free to bring your knee and your foot to the crooks of your elbows, clasping your hands, and just gently rock side to side as if you're rocking a little baby. And coming to stillness, releasing your leg down and switching legs other side here. Bringing your right foot to your left thigh and bringing your fingers between your toes. Getting right down to the webbing. Holding hands with your feet and begin to expand and contract. Creating space between each toe. And begin to pull your toes towards you and press them away and circle them around, whatever feels good for you today. Popping your fingers out, and with a loose fist, gently tapping at the bottom of your foot. Coming to stillness and taking your two thumbs, beginning at the heel, and little circular motions coming up the inner arch of your foot, across the ball, and down through the sole. Making your way back up towards your toes. And giving your pinky toe a little pull. And moving to the next. So finally you're at your big toe. Preparing to rock the baby. Bringing your foot and knee to either to your hand or the crook of your elbow. And begin to rock from side to side. Opening up through your left hip here. And coming to stillness, gently releasing your left or your right foot, coming into a comfortable seated position here. Inhaling your shoulders up by your ears, lengthening through your spine, bringing your hands together at heart center, joining me in a closing Om if you'd wish. Exhaling all of your breath from your lungs. Inhaling. Bringing your thumb knuckle to the third eye center. The best in me bows to the best in all of you. Hinging forward. Namaste. Thank you so much for being up early this morning. Thank you for coming. And have a great race day today.
Is there yoga tomorrow?
There is yoga tomorrow at 6:15. It will be our last yoga class for the Speed for Light event. And you can also catch me on YouTube at Blind Yogi on YouTube, and you can contact